We're going to line up like this. Big number divided by small number. Have I lost anybody so far? Good. Next thing is your targeting. You write down a yellow, no, I'll go yellow, right? So I highlight the first part of the division, see the X, and I highlight the first part of the thing I'm dividing it into. And what I simply do is I'm going to keep doing the DMS drop over and over again. DMS drop. Here we go. Divide. I'm quite simply going to divide 2x squared by x. Does anybody know the answer to that? Anybody know? 2xx divided by x. The answer is 2x. One of the x's on the bottom cancels one of the x's on the top. So the answer is 2x, and it goes up here. I have completed division. Division is completed. What's the next thing I'm going to do? Multiply. Multiply the 2x by what's down here. So what happens? 2x times x. 2x multiplied by 4. 8x. What's the last thing I have to do? What's the S stand for? Take 2x squared minus 2x squared. 9x, take away 8x. So what happens then? 1x, is it? And then finally, what do I drop? And what happens to your targeting? Your targeting now shifts from the 2x squared down to the... And then what's 1x divided by 1x? What's x divided by x? 1. What's any number divided by itself? What's 10 divided by 10? Exactly. Now, I'm not finished. In the same way, do you remember the 58 was my answer in the last question? What comes on top is your answer. Well, currently my answer is 2x plus 1 is my answer. However, I have to prove that there's no remainders. So what comes after D? Anybody, what comes after D? So I grab the number 1 and I multiply it. What happens when I multiply 1 by x and 4? 4. And then what do I do with the s? Subtract. And what's left over when I subtract them? 0. Okay. So how many people in class did 6x squared, which is 6xx? Is everybody happy that 6x squared means 6xx? And we divided that by 3x. What happens to one of the x's on the bottom and one of the x's on top? Cancels. What's 6x divided by 3? 2x. Who got this far? Oh, sorry. I wrote it wrong. It's 2x on the bottom, not 3x on the bottom. So it's not 2x, it's 3x. Who got that far? Okay, got the majority there, right? What comes after D? Multiply. Grab your 3x and multiply it by what's down here. And what you get, Jay? Squared, yeah. Excellent. Now what happens? Yeah. And what happens then? 6x squared. They cancel each other out, don't they? Because you're going downwards. And what's 5x? Take 3x. 2x and 1. And now where does my targeting go now? Goes down here. First part divided by first part. What's 2x divided by 2x? The x's cancel. And what's 2 divided by 2? We got 3x plus 1 on the top. Yeah. Okay. And did you do the last part? You multiply it out again, don't you? You multiply the 1 by the 2x plus 1, like so. And what you get? Then you take it away, and you have to get no remainder, don't you? You cool? Okay. We have x cubed plus 3x squared plus 5x plus 3 divided by x plus 1. Our targeting is located on the first part of the x and the x cubed. And what we're trying to say to each other is, what is x cubed divided by x? Anybody care to tell me? X squared. You've completed division. Now you're going to multiply. What's x squared multiplied by the two of these? Anybody tell me? X cubed and then 1x, 1x squared. You cool with that? Then what do we do? Subtract. Take them away from each other. And what's left over? 2x squared. We need to just drop the 5x and repeat the same procedure with your targeting now on the 2x squared and the x. Step. You bring down your targeting. You're now targeting the first part of what's left over. And you go, okay, it's 2x squared divided by x. And what do we all agree that was? Because x on the bottom takes out one of the x's on top, 2x. Now I'm at the multiplication stage. So how do I multiply? Anybody tell me? So what do we get? 2x squared plus 2x, yeah? Okay. And what do we do now? Subtract. What's left over then? 3x. Bring your targeting down to what? 3x and drop the plus 3. What happens now? Huh? 3x divided by x. And what is 3x divided by x? 3. So we have the top part completed now. Multiply 3 by x and you get 3x plus 3 again. Take them away and what happens? 0. And you're done. We okay with that? Okay. So your targeting is located here and here. So what do we do first? We do x cubed divided by x. And what's x cubed divided by x? What's 3x divided by 1x? X by x, which is x squared. We okay with that? Multiply. What happens when you multiply? Now, here's the part you're all going to trip up on, all right? X squared times x is x cubed. What's x squared times minus 3? Do you see the way it's already a minus? See the way it's already a minus? That's an issue. Because look what happens. What happens when we subtract this then? That changes to a minus. But this one's already a minus, which means it has to change to a. That's probably what got you. What's 3x squared plus 3x squared? 6x. No. 6 cans plus 6 cans is not 12 cans squared. It doesn't change. When you're adding, it doesn't change. Only when you're multiplying or dividing. Now I'm still 10x. Drops. What happens to my targeting? Where does it go to? It goes to that 6x squared. And what's 6x squared divided by x? There's your second part. What comes after divide? Multiply. So you're going to have to multiply your 6x by your x and your minus 3. What you get? Huh? Yeah. So 6x squared, yeah. And then by minus 3. Well, it's currently minus 18 because it's a plus by a minus. But what happens after that then? What happens when we subtract? That comes a minus, and this one becomes a. And then what do we have then? 18 take away 10. 8x drop there. And where does my targeting go to now? What? 8x. It goes to 8x, yeah. How many times is 8x divided by x? Huh? 8 times. What do I do after I divide? You always multiply. We're not going to get a remainder, are we? So we can just write down 8 times that is 8x minus 24. And then you have to change it into minus and plus, and you're done. Okay.